Hello, Bronx Tales is live. We're a little early today, but that's okay. I just want to make sure that we're here and ready to go. How's everybody's Monday? Hello, True Crime X and Pokey so far. I hope you guys have had a great start to your week. We have some good things to show today. I'm pretty excited about. Please remember, everything we talk about is our opinion and is alleged. Hey, Pumpkin. We'll give it a few minutes. I don't know if you can see the message that, oh, I wonder if I can show this. On screen. During your keep a conversation going to make it. Okay. Oh, cool. Now I can do that. Okay. Cool. I'm going to take this off for now, but I'm going to put the chat back up there. Hi, Bianca. How are you? Oh, you changed your profile picture. So cool. That's so cute. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We have some short little channel update, not a huge deal. And then we have kind of a big deal. I cannot take credit for it. True Crime X told me about it. So, but I am very, very happy to share it. I think everybody should know this. It's so cute, Bianca. I love that. And then it's good to see that some people are using the Bronx Tales email to give tips and thoughts and theories. That's always fun to read now that I remember to check it, because I didn't remember to check it before. But now I'm remembering. Let me get my notes out. Do. There we go. I was going to start with something completely different, but then True Crime X sent me this information, and I was like, oh, we need to share that immediately. Welcome, everybody. I hope everybody's had a wonderful start to your week. Always remember, everything is our opinion and alleged. I suppose I'll... Hey, Angie. Good to see you. I'm going to just share a quick channel update while people are coming in. I wonder if I can remove this. No. Okay. Quick channel update as people are coming in. I'm trying to find a little balance here. So, I've got to take care of Bronx. It's just me and him. So I got to take care of everything household and get him to the park every day and feed him. Plus I work all day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go live a couple times a week, whether it be 2 or 3. I want to shoot for 3. And then the in-between days, I'll be putting out pre-recorded videos. And then I'm going to start doing just a couple shorts here and there as well with some good information that we find. So every day we'll be doing something, but not necessarily going live every single day, which will give us more to talk about when we do go live. We'll have a couple days worth of information to talk about and go over and all that. So those are going to be our channel updates for right now, just so we can find some balance. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, even though we are a tad bit early. We still got 5 minutes left before people are coming in. Bronx is over here acting like a cat. He's sitting on the back of the couch, looking out the window like a dang cat. Silly boy. Okay, so I already have it on the screen, but I want to show you this because to me, it's a big deal. And the more people come in, it's really quick. I might show it 2 or 3 times during the stream tonight, just depending on how many people end up coming in. But this is a pretty big deal. This right here is, as we all know, the Linda Lane footage from 6 in the morning till 7 in the morning. And as we all know, this, we've torn this apart and torn this apart for almost 3 years now. This is what True Crime X found and sent me a message on. Many people have said the cameras aren't off by an hour. Stop saying that. Cameras aren't off. Well, this is proof they are off. As you see right now, the time at the bottom of the screen says 6:34. I'm going to pull it back just a little bit. We're not going to watch it. I'm just going to show you something. It's starting to get light out here. This is 6:23. And as we go up with the time at 6:35, the camera switches to daylight mode, which means it's been after sunrise for quite some time, 20, 30 minutes now that it's been actual sunrise time. Hi, Christina. Welcome, welcome. So this time says 6:35. This camera has now switched over to daylight, which means the sun rose a little bit before this, maybe 20, 30 minutes. Do you guys know that actual sunrise time on this day, this year, wasn't until 6:55 in the morning? So this camera is absolutely off. Because if the sun didn't rise until 6:55, it would still be dark out and this camera would not have switched over to daylight mode. So that just proves that the time is off. The time is absolutely off. It's 6:35 and the sun is already up. So it can't be sunrise at 6:55 on this camera. The times are off. Very, very interesting. I thought before they were off by an hour. It might be close to an hour. It might be a little under an hour. But we know from right here, it's at least off by 30 minutes at the very, very least. Very, very interesting, huh, guys? Yeah, times are way off. I know people have gone back and forth with that. Like, are they off? We hear a horn here and it should be this time. People were trying to kind of figure it out, but True Crime X sent me this. So excellent find. This proves that the times are definitely off. This, to me, sells it. That's complete proof. Hey, number 8. Welcome, welcome. So very interesting find. I gave the channel update. I have a couple things I want to go over. And I had a request to go over document number 90. And I actually pre-read it again and found something interesting within this document. Let me see if I can get it up on the screen. Here we go. Let me make it smaller so you guys can see it better, hopefully. This is document 90. I was asked to go over this one more time. And this is the second interview with Bethany, the roommate. And this was conducted on November 16th. And it's conducted in Reno. So we know within 2 days of the crime happening, Bethany had already gone to Reno. I can read the whole document we can definitely dive into it again, but right away I found some interesting things. This says, this is written by Blaker. He wrote this on 12/28, so a month and a half later. He says, at around 11:55 in the morning, I met with Bethany at her, I'm assuming it's blacked out, but I think it says lawyer or attorney's office and gives the address. present during the interview besides me and Bethany was her lawyer. And their name is TV. Well, I did some digging, and I believe that that is an attorney by the name of Thomas Valoria, and he is out of Reno. Strangely, he's a criminal defense attorney. Why would Bethany need a criminal defense attorney? Isn't that a little bit weird? Hello, Stepped Up Right Now. Welcome, welcome. I was a little early and we went over the boom that Crime X found, but I can do it real quick again. It took about 10 seconds. Sorry, guys, I started a tad bit early. So this is the interview with Bethany. 2 days after the crime happened, she was already back living in Reno with her family, I would assume. And this says, this is written by Blaker. He says, other than me and Bethany being in the room at her attorney's office, the attorney is TV, initials TV. And I did some digging and I found that this attorney's name allegedly is Thomas Valoria. And he's a criminal defense attorney. Now, why in the world would Bethany need a criminal defense attorney? Well, let's see what ChatGPT says. ChatGPT says, I asked them, why would a survivor of a crime need to hire a criminal defense attorney? Like, supposedly she didn't do anything. So why does she need a criminal defense attorney? It says it might seem counterintuitive, but there are several legitimate reasons a crime survivor might need to hire a defense attorney. But the thing is, the reasons are they are being investigated or accused themselves. Well, I thought that wasn't happening to her, so wouldn't be that one, would it? They acted in self-defense? Well, no. To avoid being charged with a crime. Interesting. They are facing retaliation or false accusations or allegations. Maybe. I mean, I know people were saying some stuff, but I wouldn't think she would need a criminal defense lawyer for that. Immigration? No. They committed a crime during or after the incident. And that's it. And I thought, yeah, it's always wise to get an attorney. But I also think, does that maybe show a guilty conscience? I mean, why would you immediately? I mean, this is 2 days after the crime happened. Why would you immediately move to Reno and hire a criminal defense attorney within 2 days? Interesting, Christina. Christina says, I think she had gotten into trouble for some rugs a while back because I have a feeling she was the CI. I think that's very, very possible. I think she had a criminal defense attorney because she knows she was not being honest. She knows what she did. Ding, ding, ding. Failure to report. Very, very, very interesting, right, guys? Happy Monday, Leslie. Thank you for joining. Anna P. Music. Thank you for being here. Hey, Vidrios. Hey, number 8. Oh, interesting. Number 8 says, I think she was arrested the day before the murders. Very interesting. Hey, River. She did. You are correct. Bethany did not trust MPD. She refused to go to Moscow and speak with them. That could be it too. Yeah. I mean, she ran so far from there, as far as she could get, with the people that she knew that could make it happen for her. She ran to Reno and hired a criminal defense lawyer within 2.5 days of this crime happening. Very, very interesting. I can go back and read this document really quick. It is kind of a long one, but I have some other things I want to just chit chat about for this. So anyway, she was with her criminal defense lawyer, Thomas Valorio, something like that. And Matthew went with the Nevada State Police Investigation Division. So I'm assuming Matthew is with the Nevada State Police Investigation Division. This was a follow-up interview with Bethany related to the homicide in Moscow. I asked Bethany who had the front door code. Bethany told me the following people had the front door code: herself, Dylan, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, JM, which I'm assuming is either Jack McClure or Jenna McClure, and I think it's probably Jenna. There's a CC or a CO, and I'm not sure who that is. The LM, I believe this is the female LM. Hunter Johnson, Emily Allant, and JL, which is another female. But it does say that Bethany stated the above named people were the only ones that she knew had the code. Bethany stated the code for the front door was the same code from the year before. So the year before, Maddie lived there, but all the other residents were completely different people. So could you imagine if Bethany knew these people had the code? Well, Dylan probably has a whole different set of people that have the code. Maddie probably has a whole different set of people. She's been there for 2 years now. Kaylee had a whole different group of people that she knew had the code, and so on and so on. Now, who knows if one of the frats was like, all sitting together, drinking, whatever, and they said, hey, let's go play a prank on the King girls. Does anybody, they got a code to their front door. Does anybody know the code? And somebody shouts it out. Yeah, I know the code. It's blah, 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 blah. Well, now, how many people know the code? And it wasn't really to do a prank, or maybe it was, and someone overheard the code. I mean, there is tons and tons of people, allegedly, in my opinion, that have the code to this house. It's not just these people that are listed in this document. It's a lot of people that know the code to this house. He asked Bethany what the code was. Bethany stated her, Dylan, and Kaylee moved in around August 3rd, 2022. So Kaylee only lived there for a couple months. Not even 3 months. Pokey says, let's not forget about AC, who didn't have the code. Exactly. It sounds like a crap ton of people had the code. Did the DoorDash driver have the code? Who knows? Maybe, when it says, when you order DoorDash, it has that spot that says, do you have any further directions? I mean, what if they said, just put it in the foyer, open the door, put it in the foyer? I mean, we have to remember these are young college students that don't even lock their doors at night, obviously, that maybe don't have the wherewithal to understand that things can happen to you. You have to be vigilant. You have to pay attention. Did the stranger Gabe have the code? I mean, I don't think it would be too far-fetched to say he even might have the code. He said the door was open when he went there. Remember? The guy that broke in their home and stated I could unalive them if I wanted to. I broke into their house. Nobody was there. He said the door was open. How hard would it be to get this code? Did the supplier have it? I could imagine most of the town either had the code or had easy access to get the code if they wanted it. I would assume a lot of the frats had the code. I mean, Kaylee was talking to 4 different people, 4 different guys at the same time. She was messing around with 4 different people. I could imagine they had the code. So yeah, that's a lot of people. Maddie's room was located on the 3rd floor on the east side of the residence, next to the bathroom. Now, Maddie never changed her room. When other people moved in there, she never changed her room. So that makes me think the perpetrators, remember, they came in and went straight up the stairs to her room. Well, she hadn't changed rooms from the year before. So is it somebody that has known the layout of this house and who was in the rooms, or at least knew where Maddie's room was for 2 years? Murphy's routine was Kaylee's dog with Jack Decor. She usually let Murphy out, but Maddie helped sometimes. And when they took him out, they had to put him on a leash because he would run away. Well, that can't possibly be true, because how many times do we have a report from different people saying Murphy went out into the woods, Murphy ran away into the woods, Murphy went to the freaking woods? So they didn't put a leash on him when they took him out, because obviously he runs away all the dang time. But it's wild to know, actually, that Kaylee had only lived there for 3 months. So how secure was Murphy in this home? Because Murphy would have only lived there for 3 months. He was still a puppy anyways. He was only 9-10 months old at the time. And in this report, Bethany says Murphy barely ever barked. Strange, because this night, all of the different neighbors heard Murphy barking both inside and outside for a long time. Now, my question is, with that statement that Murphy barely ever barked, and then the neighbors saying Murphy was definitely outside barking for at least 30 minutes. Now, there was BLOOD found in Kaylee's room on the wall, and it was found on the northwest wall. Now, I'm not sure if that's the one closest to the window or the one on the very side, but one of the intruders was in that room after somebody had been hurt or unalived. Was it to let Murphy out onto the patio in Kaylee's room? Or was it to check out the front window to make sure nobody's coming, nobody's called 911, to make sure their ride is still waiting out there? Don't know. And what's interesting that you say that, Christina, she says Emma B and Ashleen Couch are besties. Well, what's interesting to me is how many times have we seen interviews or heard reports from their friends that say, oh, Maddie was my best friend. Well, they're not on the list of people who know the code. Oh, Kaylee was my best friend. Well, that girl's not on the list of who knows the code. I mean, how close really were these people to be able to be giving statements like this, because they obviously don't have the code, according to Bethany? Or does that just prove how many dang people have the code to this freaking house? And then their boyfriends or the people they talk to, and then their friends, and that, like the list goes on and on and on. Number 8 says, was Murphy really found on the bed, or was that a rumor? Well, that was a report by a couple of the officers that they had come in and saw Murphy was just laying on the bed. And Bethany says that when nobody was home, Murphy would just lay in Kaylee's bed. And then when all the officers started coming in, Murphy got scared and went and hid under a desk. And they said he was obviously scared. But what we also know now, which I'll show in a minute, is that Officer PAYNE is a liar. Officer PAYNE is a straight up liar. And he's lied in, at the very least, 2 reports. Now, Lana's the one who found this. I'm not taking credit for it at all, but it's interesting. And I'm going to dig a little bit deeper on why I find it so interesting, and it's just my opinion. I'll continue with this report for now. I asked Bethany if she ever heard of a CG. Bethany stated she knew of a C, and he was also a blank, I'm assuming some frat. B stated C was a nice guy and knew Dylan. Could this CG actually be the G person that was in the previous report or the previous tip? The one that went into their house and said he could have unalived them all if he wanted to, who broke in when nobody was there? Who knows what he did then? I asked Bethany if she knew a CB. She stated she did not. I asked Bethany if she knew the person behind Kaylee and Maddie on the grub truck video, which would have been Showalter. Bethany stated she did not know who the person was. I asked Bethany if she knew a guy by the name of Showalter. Bethany stated she did not know him, but stated she had heard from a friend of Maddie's, Showalter. Oh, a friend of Maddie's that starts with an S as well, not Showalter, that her boyfriend, JF, also a whatever fraternity, that he would never want to get in a fight with Showalter because he had anger issues. Interesting. So it was well known that Showalter had serious anger problems. So if he had such anger problems and was completely ditched at the grub truck, he thought they were going to go to a different spot. And then all of a sudden, these girls that he was hanging out with, maybe he thought he was going to get some, they ditched him. And he's like, what the F? He even threw his hands in the air. What the heck? These girls just ditched me. And then we see the black figure at what's said to be 350, but now we see that might be off. Probably is off. Bronx is laying on his back with all of his feet in the air on the couch. That's funny. So we see the figure clad in black that comes from the same place where Showalter lives and is headed in the direction of 1122, and then comes back literally exactly 32 minutes later, which to me sounds about the right time frame that it would take for somebody to commit this crime. Not 6 minutes, not 7 minutes. 32 sounds a lot better to me. Hunter B. Yeah, apparently they don't know Showalter. Not by face, not by video, and not by name. Showalter wanted to be with Maddie, and she didn't want anything to do with him. I think the exact same. I completely agree with that. I really do. Yep. 7 minutes is absurd. I think that's even if you had two people doing it. Even if you had two people in there, I still think 7 minutes isn't long enough. I mean, remember, they were actually on 3 different floors. 4 different people, a whole fight, everything. I asked Bethany about AC. Bethany said A used to live at the house but moved out. I'm going to assume that's Ashlyn Couch. Interesting. I wonder why he's asking her about Ashlyn Couch. I asked Bethany who used the bedroom on the west end of the first floor. Bethany stated Kaylee and Maddie used that room as an office. I asked Bethany about the rug use in the house and who used. Bethany told me Ethan and Xana both took Adderall when they drank alcohol. Bethany told me she saw Ethan and Xana both use Adderall the night before the murders. She saw them use rugs the night before the murders. Was that the night of the 12th? Is that what she meant? Because then why the F did their toxicology reports come back with no rugs in their system? That's a freaking lie. That report is a MFing lie. This is proven fact. They had rugs in their system. Bethany saw them use it. Exactly, Fizzy. Exactly. It's a lie. Yep. Mabbitt lied. The officers lied. The medical examiner lied. Everybody's lying. Everybody's lying. She told me she saw Ethan and Xana both use Adderall the night before the murders. Bethany told me she saw Ethan take a pill and she saw Xana crush up a pill and snort it by using a rolled up bill in her room. Bethany also said she thought Kaylee also used Adderall, but wasn't sure. No, you know if somebody's using something, you know. So I'm going to say Kaylee probably did as well. It's exactly why it's called IDAHO. Well, let's see. Whoops. Looking up, can Adderall come in the color blue? Yes. Adderall can come in blue pills. 7.5 milligrams. Immediate release is often an oval-shaped pill, blue pill, with AD and 7.5 imprinted on it. 10 milligram Adderall is often a round blue pill with AD and 10 imprinted on it. 10 milligram Adderall XR extended release is a blue capsule with 1/2 blue and 1/2 clear. I don't think it's a capsule. I would assume it's either the oval shaped blue pill or the round blue pill. But yes. Yes. Hi, Dane. Thank you for being here. Dang. So BF ratted out her roommates even though she'd been arrested for rugs herself. Well, some think she's the CI, so it would make sense that she's tattling. Tattling. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. I'm just reading chat real quick. Yes, they could dump out the powder that is inside the capsule. Correct, but it's usually white. Yep, you're right, Christina. Hush up, Jeff. Using rugs is definitely far worse than unaliving 4 people for sure. Stop it. We know what's worse. Silly. It's just interesting, Jeff, that we just continue to be lied to. And let me just say again, Brian could have possibly done this. I will never know. You will never know because we weren't there. It's just the parts that bother me is the lying. If you have nothing to hide, why are you lying? That goes for Mabbitt. That goes for the police. That goes for all these people, these friends, the people around, the people in the town, the people, like, why is everybody lying? So yeah, I asked Bethany if she had any issues from any of the other people who lived around them. Bethany stated besides the 3 to 4 noise complaints, which was the people right behind them, last name starts with an M, first name I think is Matthew, there were no issues. She talked about Kaylee looking up the registered SOs. 2 other incidents where Kaylee said something weird happened, where she was followed at the Winco while she was buying Xana White Claws. Kaylee stated the male was African American and in his late 20s and was following her and checking her out and trying to holler at her. Could that have been Demetrius? Who freaking knows? Maybe, maybe not. They found the door open on November 4th around 10:57 in the morning. Was that the G? The guy's name that starts with a G that broke into their house and said he could unalive them if they wanted to? But she said the wind was blowing and the screws on the hinges were loose and Xana's dad fixed it before he left that weekend. Kaylee told everyone about an incident where she saw a male watching her when she had taken Murphy out back to go to the bathroom. Bethany couldn't remember when this happened or provide the actual day. Bethany stated she had been at a chapter meeting at the time Kaylee called them asking if they were going to come home soon. Obviously, she was scared. And then we know the timeline of the unalivings. We know where she says what Dylan says. The guy and the holding a small vacuum type object, which Dylan didn't actually say that, but she said prior to hearing the firecracker, she thought she heard Murphy bark. She also heard what she thought was the beer pong table moving and cups falling. Well, interesting, because they also found red fluid on the ping pong table. This crime, these people were everywhere in this house. There is no way that Dylan didn't hear this stuff. There is no way that Bethany didn't hear this stuff, obviously. They were all over this house. There's no way that this could have been done by one person, in my opinion. No way. One person is fighting with Kaylee upstairs and then moves down to Xana and is all over the place. I mean, the living room, the bedroom. Where's Ethan at this time? And Dylan didn't hear any of this, and it's literally paper thin walls right next to her room. Excuse me, right next to her room. No, ma'am, no, sir. So we now know that Lana proved this in document 115, which I can pull up. Let me move it over here. This document 115 is written by Brett Payne, and this document is a full lie. Lie, 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 lie. Liar, liar, pants on fire. He said on November 24th, he collected a black polar penguin glove from the parking lot of 1122. No, he didn't. Chris McDonough put up a picture. Let me see if I can pull it up too. Do. Let's see. The interview room. Posts. Here it is, guys. Let me take this one down. Better. This Chris McDonough. Okay, so I'll go back a little bit. Lana. Yeah. River. Then there was no trace evidence anywhere in that house except inside a metal snap. And they were all, hey, Cheryl. And they were all over that house. All over that house. So this is a picture. Okay, let me go back. Lana said, look, Payne wrote on the 115 document, he wrote that and he said he found the black bloody glove. He just said he found a black glove in the parking lot. Well, it was the same day that Chris McDonough found this bloody glove in the front yard. They didn't find two different gloves, you guys. Payne is lying. He's talking about this glove. And Payne tried to say somebody put that glove there when they were all there or dropped the glove there because he said when he pulled up, it wasn't there. Bullcrap. This was on the 24th that Payne said when he pulled up, it wasn't there. So somebody must have dropped it or something. Well, no, this is a picture on the 14th and the glove is there. And they missed it for 10 whole days. They continued to walk by this glove. Chris McDonough found this glove on the 24th, and here is proof that it was there on the 14th. So Payne lied because it was there when he pulled up. It had been there since the day after the crime, and it was bloody, and it was a glove. Yeah, he missed it, plain and freaking simple. But why is he lying about it? It's a glove. It's a bloody glove. I mean, what do you need to lie about that for? I mean, that's obviously to cover something up. I think why he's lying about that is because he's covering something up with this case. And it has to do with the university having them cover up whatever's going on in this case. And if they tested the inside of that glove, which they didn't, they only know it's unknown male. They don't know who it belongs to. But had they tested the inside of that glove, Payne is now saying, well, it wasn't there before, so it can't be related to the crime. He's trying to say that whatever that DNA would have matched to, whoever that DNA would have matched to, it can't be part of the crime because that glove wasn't there when I pulled up on the 24th, guys. Not related, not a big deal, no follow-up. That's a lie. And I think he's lying because he now works for the university. Chief Fry went in, now works for Washington. And this happened not too long after, the crime and the investigation and all that in this case. Here's my theory on that. I think Payne was Chief Fry's right-hand man. That was his bestie. That was, if Chief Fry knew about it, Payne knew about it, right? He was that guy that was always right next to Payne. And how do I know that? Because Payne Chief Fry literally invented a position for Payne. The position that Payne was in, he wasn't in previously. Chief Fry literally made that position up to give it to Payne and promote him as his right-hand man. So if Fry talked to the university, Payne talked to the university. If the university gave Fry a command, Payne had the same command and knew about it. So what do I think happened here? Well, they're covering it up. Payne is a big part of covering this up. And why is he okay with doing that? Well, because he knows that when he talked to the university and the university told him to cover it up, and Payne says, dude, what if I get in trouble? What's in it for me? The university says, well, you can come work over here. If you do this for us, if you cover this crap up, come work over here. I'll give you a 6-figure salary. Payne says to himself, this is my opinion, my theory, crap, I can not only cover it up because who cares? I'm leaving anyway. I got a different job anyway. And I can work for the university. They're just going to give me a position, a 6-figure position. No problem. Hi, Susan. No problem, Payne says. I can alter reports. I can make false reports. I can lie in the reports. I'm going to the university anyway. University's got my back. The university calls the shots in this town. Who in the university? I don't know. There are obviously some elites, and that's what I've been trying to dig into lately. There are elites that call the shots in this whole area. The university was called first before anybody else. And when Pullman called and said, hey, do you need us like you always do? We always work hand in hand. And they said, Chief Fry said, Payne said, no, we don't need you. Why suddenly would you not need Pullman? You need Pullman for every other thing. But now suddenly you don't need Pullman? Well, because you can't have all those people in on a lie. You can't have all those people in on a cover-up. There was only a handful of people or less that was covering this up and directing it in the way they wanted the narrative to be directed, per the university. Hey, Sweet and Salty. Hi, Ray. Good evening. Good evening. No, that's okay that you're late. I was actually super early, so no big deal. Hi, guys. Hi. Since we have about 63 people in here, I'm going to go back and show what I showed earlier really quick. Let me grab it. Put the address in. See if I can grab it real quick. Here it is. Let me share this. And I cannot take credit for this. True Crime X found this. He just told me to show you guys. And this shows Linda Lane, as we all know, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. This time right here, you can see it's getting light out. The sun has risen. It's starting. This is 6:20, 23. It's starting to get light out. But here at 6:35, this camera switches to light. So we know the sun has been up for at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes. However, the sun didn't rise until 6:55 that day. How could it be light out at 6:35? I mean, completely light out to the point that this camera switched to daylight mode, back to color mode. How? The only way how is if the camera time is off. So when people are yelling at us, stop saying the camera time is off. I'm not saying anybody in particular. I've just heard it everywhere. Like, stop saying that. Why? It's off. This camera time is off. The sun didn't rise until 6:55 this day. It should not be this light out at 6:35 in the morning. And as we saw at 6:20, it was getting light out. No way. Yeah, it's off. I mean, let's say at the very, very least, it's off 30 minutes. At the very least. This could be an hour off, but we know it's off by quite a bit of time. So that gives a domino effect, right, guys? Like, okay, we think this car drove by at this time. Well, now we know the camera's off. We don't even know exactly how much the camera is off. It could be 30 minutes. Well, now that changes the actual time that a certain car drives by or doesn't drive by, or the kid walks by the dumpster. Like, at what point did this camera become so off? Or has it been off the whole time? Or was it altered? We know time was taken out. We know seconds and minutes and 30 minutes here has been taken out. But at what point was that taken out, right? We have to go back and look at the times that was altered, and then now match it up to the new times. And when the car drove by, what time would it actually be? Like, there's a whole domino effect because of this. Yeah, good job, True Crime X. Good job. Oh, I can't take credit for it. We got to give credit where it's due. That is True Crime X all the way. Awesome catch. It changes everything completely. Okay, I got one more thing for y'all, and then I'm going to take Brunksy to the park. But this, to me, is a pretty good find in my mind. I think it proves to me what weapon was used on Kaylee. But oh, dang it. I just exited out of the thing I needed to use. It is definitely a Monday. Let me go back. It won't take me long. I need to find Ashley Banfield interview with Steve G on the phone. See if it'll pull up. I think this is it. All right, let me share it. This is the interview with Ashley Banfield where Steve Gonsalves calls into her personal phone or work phone or whatever phone it is. First, I want to say for all of you guys that have seen this, I don't think anybody's really said this that I've seen, but this whole call into her is completely set up. This was done on purpose. This was done, in my opinion, so Steve Gonsalves can say what he wants to say, but if he gets any backlash from it, he can say, oh, I didn't know Ashley was recording. I didn't tell her to put that out. I didn't know she was recording me. Bull crap. He's saying that he called her and he made this whole plan up with her. Hey, I'm going to call you at this time while you're recording so you can have me and me saying this on your recording.
Pissed that I mean, all that stuff. Well, for one, we said give it to us first, and they did. And you guys got it before we did, just like you and I got the murders before we did. I mean,
which stuff? Wait, which stuff? Because we got all the material after your 3-hour meeting, I think.
Yeah, but the 3-hour meeting was just a question and answer. We just sat there and talked to him. There was no documents handed over to us.
Okay.
And we don't know. How do you ask for something you don't know exists?
Hey, everybody, I'm Ashley Banfield, and this is Drop Dead Serious. I have a bit of a weird episode for you today. If you're watching on YouTube, you're probably going to see me going through a lot of these documents.
Just keep in mind, it's coming up here shortly. She edited a lot of this interview. There are times where he is completely cut off. This is not a natural conversation. This was completely planned out, in my opinion, and it's completely edited. Just keep that in mind. This was not I accidentally recorded it while I was on the phone, just a random phone call. No, lie. That's a complete lie.
And if you're listening on the podcast, basically I am learning alongside you and it will drib and drab out for months, possibly up to 4 months, as they go over every one of these 4:20 in the morning. And the night.
Let me get to the part where she's on her phone.
That he was the one that went in and he made.
I just want to talk about one thing that Steve says. I should have wrote down the time, but I didn't. Sorry, guys.
Chrissy's finally reading some of the stuff that I heard about, and she's just upset. And I'm just, when I see her upset, I get all motivated. I'm just so pissed that I mean, all that stuff. Well, for one, we said give it to us first, and they did. And you guys got it before we did, just like you and I got the murders before we did.
He proves, again, like I've been saying, university was called first. They were the first people called. Why? Because they called the shots. Not the police, not the FBI. The university calls the shots. And you know what they said? This has got to be a random person. Nothing to do with Idaho. Can't be an Idaho on Idaho crime. You remember when they said that?
Which stuff? Wait, which stuff? Because we got all the material after your 3-hour meeting, I think.
Yeah, but the 3-hour meeting was just a question and answer. We just sat there and talked to him. There was no documents handed over to us.
Okay.
And we don't know. How do you ask for something you don't know exists?
No, you're right. No, I thought you were given all this material, that they went over it all with you. I didn't realize this was you just asking questions and getting some answers, but not getting all the details.
No, we just want a question that was really related. Like, we want to see in our final statements, which they confirmed a bunch of stuff that we had wasn't accurate. So we removed a bunch of our stuff that out, because I heard Kaylee was stabbed 50 times, but that was actually Xana. So I took that all out, and then
He didn't even know how many times his child had been stabbed. Could you imagine if that was your child, unalived like that, and you were told nothing? This whole thing was covered up, from the university to the cops to the prosecution. I mean, all the way down. And everybody's been lied to.
I heard some other things that, like, something about, I don't know what it was, but basically it made us all rewrite our statements to take out any things that weren't 100% confirmed.
Yeah.
Some of the searches on his phone weren't confirmed, but then they were, like, again, they said anything that was Pennsylvania research is different than our research, and they were researching murders related to his activity in Pennsylvania. We weren't privy to that investigation.
So if you didn't hear it, Steve said they saw a bunch of searches on Brian Koberger's phone. Well, interesting, because I thought they said he had deleted every single thing on his device. I mean, I've already proven that we know that's a lie, because they got everything off of his phone. But here again, even Steve knows what the heck he was searching. So apparently he didn't remove everything from his device.
When we're not privy to the investigation that the FBI were doing, we are who we are, and we didn't see some of these things. So we're not saying they didn't exist. We're just saying we can't confirm them.
Got it.
When we were saying certain searches on porn and all this stuff, like I heard an investigator called me and said, yeah, not only did he have searches related to drunk girls, he also had related to gagging.
Yeah.
And some of the damage to Kaylee could have basically seemed like he was trying to quiet her. He was trying to silence her, which if he's searching for choke porn, then in that murder scene, he had drunk girls and choke porn.
This is the part that I want to talk about. I want to show you guys something.
Literally, so for a prosecutor to say that there's no sexual motivation at all, we know there's no assault, okay? We know this person was interrupted, literally interrupted. So who knows what his intentions were, but for you to go and say that it wasn't motivated, really, it insulted so many people that my phone started ringing, saying, I can't stand here. I can't stand here and let this prosecutor, basically, he's protecting the university at the cost of everyone, of all you guys, all you victims. He's just basically going to protect that university. You know, PAYNE works for the university now, right?
Real quickly, the notes that we got with all these details, are these just Moscow police?
He was cut off. Did you guys catch that? PAYNE works for the university now. Oh, edit. We're going to cut that right off. And she's got to change the subject. You guys, if nothing was being covered up, if nothing was a lie, they wouldn't have to do all of this. They wouldn't have to not talk about it.
These notes, but no FBI notes?
Yeah, there's nothing about the FBI that they're privy to. The FBI had a separate investigation that they did not share with them. And the Pennsylvania, they did work with the Pennsylvania, they said more than the FBI.
Yeah.
But they were clear to say that their investigation could have found a lot of things that we are not privy to.
Yeah.
So, and those images in the Dateline look like somebody taking a picture of his phone directly.
Superior Car Credit, where they understand that a credit score does not define you as
pay
a
for premium.
Well, I can't wait for those to get unsealed. I did want to ask you a quick question, though, because I'm still mystified. Yesterday in the press conference, the police said there's only one murder weapon, and it's the K-bar knife, but then there are blunt force injuries. And I know that you mentioned there's a second weapon. What did they say to you? Because in the press conference, they said, ask the families. What did they say to you about a second weapon?
I don't think that weapon murdered her. And that's the kind of games that these people are playing. It's protect the university, protect this stuff. He punched her face. He knocked her teeth out. That didn't kill her.
He said he punched her in the face. He knocked her teeth out. I don't think that's from a punch at all.
So they're playing those kind of games with you guys.
Did he knock her teeth out?
Yeah, her teeth were busted out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so maybe that didn't murder her. So technically, it wasn't a murder weapon.
Right.
But come on. I mean, why are you protecting the monster?
And
why
so
is Idaho protecting the monster?
The blunt injuries that they described in the autopsy, that we think that is him with his hands, literally.
No. I think there's another weapon.
You do? Yeah,
it's rounded with stripes in it.
He said it's another weapon. It's rounded with stripes in it. Now, that's all I wanted to play, you guys, from that. And let me show you what I think it is. May I present to you the butt of a gun? Why won't it go bigger? Goodness. I don't think you guys can see that, can you? Where'd it go? Oh, come on. Don't do me like this. This is a butt of a gun, and this is rounded with stripes. He said it was like rounded with stripes on her face, whichever way the stripe, I don't know if they were horizontal or vertical, but if you are basically pistol whipping somebody using the butt of a gun in their face to fight them, that would bust out their teeth, and that would make stripes on their face. Obviously, they're not going to hit in the same spot every time. That's probably why she had one on each side. This is just what I think right now. That it was, yeah, that's what I think too. And if you remember, Dylan saw one of the perps carrying a gun that looked like an arrow. Now, it could also be this side of the gun. You know, if he's swinging it, this is also rounded with stripes. And there's all different sorts of patterns you can get on the butt of a gun. They are replaceable. They can be rubber, they can be plastic, but you can take them off and put them back on. These are all rounded with stripes. Look at that one. Rounded with stripes. And the thing is the type of gun that this butt would be on would be a longer gun that looks like an arrow. Now, one of my subscribers thought that it could also be something like let me see if I can find it. there are like these dagger looking knives that have a rounded end to it that has stripes on it as well. But I can't seem to find the picture right now. It's not coming up for me. Anyways, you can hold it on the other, not on the blade side, but you can hold it, you know, the side that you would normally hold a knife on. But when you're hitting somebody with it the opposite way, it can leave the same marks as well. I just can't find the picture where I had it. Anyways, I think, in my opinion, that it is called a crusher. Okay. Let me see if I can look it up that way. It's like this. Okay, let me share this. Like this one, guys, the one that that's right here. Oh, let me make it. There we go. This also, I know it's small, it's hard to see, but this has stripes on it as well, all the way around, and is rounded. They have them longer, and they also have ends like this that are striped and are way longer than this. Which is possible too. And this has stripes on it. I mean, there's brass knuckles that have stripes on them. You can get brass knuckles with words indented on them. So, you know, whatever the free space is when you hit somebody, that's the pattern that's going to show up. They have them with stripes. They have them with words. They have them with designs. They have them with all sorts of stuff. I don't think it's brass knuckles at all. Personally, I think it's the butt of a gun. Yeah, that is scary. Ah, okay. Vidrio says pinky first to stab, thumb first to hit without changing the grip. But to me, you're not going to have one person in there with this weapon or a gun and a K-bar and carrying a container, a gun that looks like an arrow, whatever was making the light that Bethany saw under her door. I definitely think that there was one person on the first floor and one person upstairs. They both helped. One of them said to the other perpetrator, "It's okay, I'm here to help." It wasn't to the victim. It was to the other perpetrator. They might have been losing the fight. They might have been struggling. Yeah, the unaliving kit. No, there was more than one person in that house. And that's what makes me think, River, you're right. We do hear a gun being racked at Linda Lane. And the gun being racked is right before the unalivings took place. And I think on that gun, it had a butt that was rounded with stripes. That's what I think. That's what I have for you guys today. That's it. Yeah, and then True Crime X says, and move that back an hour. Whoops. Move everything back an hour. And then it fits. I think that, yes, at least 4 and 1 if a female that did that to KG, in my opinion. I think it's strange for a male to hit a female, not hit, but, you know, with a weapon, a sharp force to the top of the head. I think that's a very strange thing for a male to do, but that's just my opinion. So today we learned that the camera of Linda Lane is completely off. We don't know exactly how long, but I would surmise it's somewhere around an hour. At the very, very, very least, it would be 30 minutes. We know that PAYNE is lying about the glove. That was completely proven. And why? Because I think he was directed by the university to anything that had anything to do with DNA, get it out. Get it out. We're not testing it. We're not doing anything with it. I don't lie about it. Say you found it. And I got a 6-figure job waiting for you at the university. PAYNE's like, okay. Fry's leaving anyway. Fry's getting out too because of this case. I agree with this, Cheryl. There is no proof that a K-bar was used. They went off of a K-bar being used simply because the sheath was there. I feel, in my opinion, that could have carried any sharp force weapon. Didn't necessarily have to be the K-bar itself or that length. It could have housed a number of different weapons. I believe Judge did retire. I think he did. I think you are right. All right, guys, I got to take off. It's 6:35, and I think I got through everything I needed to get through today. One thing I wanted to say is I mentioned a website regarding Phoenix and Birdie. He did reach out to me and let me know that that is specifically Phoenix's website, and it is to help with Brian Koberger getting a lawyer. It's not a GoFundMe. It goes directly to a lawyer or something like that. It's not my website, so I can't explain it like she does. But Birdie did reach out to me. He let me know that he is not affiliated with that. That is Phoenix's project alone, just Phoenix. And that website is Justice for All. And the 4 is spelled out. So Justice, FOUR, all.com. And you can go there, and they have all the documents. Phoenix does, and whoever's working with her on that. It is not Birdie. You can go through and do Control F on the documents, and you can find whatever you're looking for. You just type it in there rather than going one by one through the documents, which I have found helpful. And that's where you can also submit any sort of information you want to submit, whether it be a lawyer's name that could help or anything like that. So I did want to let you know that Birdie did reach out to me and let me know that is solely Phoenix's project, and that is the website of it. Yeah, Phoenix is on that. Yes, she is. So other than that, that is what we have for you. Thanks, everybody, for joining today. Bronx is crying at me to go to the PARK. Thanks, Sweet and Salty. Thanks, number 8. Thanks, Susan and Melissa. Bianca, of course. Stop that right now. Thank you both for modding for me. I appreciate it. River, True Crime X, thank you so much for your big find today. Susan, Christina, Cheryl, Fizzy Cake, Pumpkin, Vidrios, Sudi, Vasek or Vaychek, Leslie, Anna P, Cece, Ray, Elise, Mark and Betty with the cutie little paws. Oh, I did want to show you. Look what I can do now. Look, I can put the chat on there too. I just figured it out. All right, guys, I'm going to take off and go to the park. Thank you so much for being here. As always, do something nice for yourself. Be kind, but more importantly, be kind to your dog or your cat or your animals. Just be kind in general. Bye, guys. Have a great night. Thank you for being here. We love you as always.